Wake Up Jacob, Israelite Prepper. And if you are rocking with the vibe, please like, share, subscribe. Listen, like many of you, wake up to the news and look at what's going on. Look at what the media is saying about our current situation. And so I noticed a couple of things, right? They're talking a little bit about social distancing, and they're saying that the mayor, the governor, I should say, the governor of New York is a little bit upset that a lot of people are not practicing social distancing. There's over 10, actually, there's up to 16,000 people infected in New York. It's almost like the epicenter for this particular, for this country, right? New York. So we're getting up there. The death toll is rising, and the infected folks are rising. So it is starting to happen, guys. And the governor's getting frustrated. There's places around the country, people gathering in parks. I was talking about New York. I saw where some people are gathering, at beaches and things like that. And otherwise, really not taking it seriously. It's like we've been asked, look, social distancing, no more than 2 people. It went from 20 people down to 10, down to 5. Now it's down to 2. No more gatherings larger than 2 people, right? And this is what they're telling us to do. This is what is suggested to us. This is what's recommended to us. And since people are not following it, and the numbers are still rising as far as contracting this particular plague, as far as contracting it, what's going to happen next? You guessed it, martial law, because they're going to develop the mindset of, well, we asked you to do it, you won't listen, and now we're going to have to force you to do it because we have to stop this spread. Okay. So we gotta realize what's going on. They're asking us to do it. Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna listen? So far, not so good. They're also talking about not using gloves, right? And one of the reasons why they were saying not to use the gloves is because they're saying you go out, you use your gloves, and you have a false sense of security. Meaning, you wear your gloves, you go out in the public, you touch different surfaces and things like that. You have your gloves, you're touching different surfaces, and yet you're still touching your phone, you're still touching your steering wheel, you're still touching personal items, your iPad, so on and so forth. So you're still touching all these things. And then you take your gloves off, and some people take off their gloves improperly. Instead of taking both their gloves, slipping it on the inside of one glove. Actually, you pinch the nape of the gloves and slip it on the inside of the other and ball it up, throw it away. It's kind of like those when I teach them CPR, first aid, BLS, things like that. Have to teach them how to take it off the right way. You got to take your glove off the right way, right? So that all the infected outside ends up on the inside, right? I don't have the glove with me right now. I'd show you, but anyway, to do that, right? So they're not doing that. So they're touching the infected surface of their gloves. So anyway, now that their hands are infected, and some of them, because they have this false sense of security, they don't go back and actually wash their hands. Then they go back and touch their phone, steering wheel, iPad, keys, whatever, right? And so they're saying they're getting reinfected. So in case you're wondering, like, man, I'm wearing my mask, I'm wearing my gloves. Why? What's happening? It's because you're not protecting yourself from that spread. So that's what they're saying. So what they're saying does have merit. I have to say, when I first heard it, I was like, what? But then after I heard them out, I have to say the idea does have merit. So, you can wear them, but you got to do it right. You still got to wash your hands. You got to remove the gloves correctly. You got to not touch surfaces, personal surfaces, with your gloves. Okay, then take the gloves off and then touch those personal surfaces. If you could imagine, touching your steering wheel and stuff like that. So anyway, just want to, hey, jump in, let you guys know that. You guys give me your thoughts on that. Let me see. A couple people said something. Let's do our little roll call. You guys know what we do. Let's do our little roll call. I know only a few of you guys got in there because it's like really early right now for some of you. So let me see here. Get into my phone, see what we have here. Okay, shalom, Frank Stockton. What is going on, brother? Awaken the generations, Yah. Grand risings, beloved grand risings. Shalom. Grant Hill, the man, the myth, the legend. He said, I hope all is well. Proud of you. Appreciate that, brother. I thank you for that. Appreciate that. Awaken the generations to Yah. Thank you, thank you. I learned that for the CNA. Yeah, yeah. I do the. I'm an instructor. One of the things I do, I'm an instructor, and I, give you the 2 year certification and stuff like that with the BLS and so on. So I know I see many of you guys, many of the students, a lot, all the time. Which reminds me, I haven't been teaching it lately because of this whole outbreak, and I'm wondering what people are gonna. I wonder what people have to do. Like if you're, because every month someone's certification is up, right? Every month someone's certification expires, and I'm like, well, how do you do it? Because even when they took the online portion, right? So even when they took the online portion of it, which of course I'm not recommending taking the online portion of it because you still have to do a skills test anyway, but that's a small digression. Anyway, even when people took the online portion, they still needed to come in and take the skills test because you got to physically do it, right? So I stopped because I already know students are not going to be coming, them touching on my mannequins and the gloves, and you can't do it. It's really, really hard. Exactly. You gotta do hands-on training. You have to do hands-on training anyway. So taking the online just doesn't do anything. And I don't know if they're just gonna let that slide. I'll look into it. I don't know if they're gonna let that slide and just let people just take the online. I don't get it because you actually need to do the hands-on. It's kind of like driving a car, with just reading the manual. Just reading the manual. You got to get into practice of actually doing it. You got to have your proper hand placement. You got to have your proper CPM. You got to have a proper depth on what you're doing. Yeah. So I mean, I can't recommend online. It's not the same. It's not the same. You got to really do it. I mean, and if you don't do the hands-on, if you have to do it in real life, if you have to really do it on a person, it's going to feel very, very foreign. It's going to feel really, really, really strange, right? And you want to be as comfortable and confident as possible because, I mean, you're talking about a really high stress situation. Someone's collapsed. They're not breathing, no pulse, things like that. You're pretty nervous, okay? Your adrenaline's running pretty high. And all you did was look at something online. That's all you did. You've never got down there, it's just weird, it's very weird. You never, if you have a defibrillator, you never placed it on anyone. You never went through the prompts, you never listened. I mean, that's, I don't know. I don't recommend it, but we'll see what they say. Shalom, Ronnie Rayner. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to jump in there and talk to you guys, just let you guys know what's going on this end and what's what I've been looking at. The social distancing, guys, is it's real. But the point of this whole blog, the point really is that they're asking us to distance ourselves one another at least 6 feet. No more gatherings of 2 or more people. Now they're asking us that. But pretty soon they're not gonna ask. They're going to enforce it. Case in point, I think it was Italy. Okay, National Guard on the streets, saying, hey, they're enforcing it. You have to distance yourself. They are enforcing it. And so here in America, we're so used to certain liberties, and it is completely foreign to us to have our liberties taken away, our rights. But it's going to be a rude awakening when it is enforced. It's going to be a rude awakening when the military trucks and a bunch of uniformed people with weapons on them enforcing us to do that. Okay, let's see. He said, saw on the news, beaches in some place beaches were packed for spring break. Yeah, exactly. They don't care. People are not. They're not listening. They're not taking it serious. Here's the thing. It's never going to go away if people keep getting infected and reinfected, because that's what's happening. Because we won't distance ourselves one from another. I mean, what do you expect to happen, guys? What do you expect? I can get it and get better, and to go right back out there and reinfect. There's no vaccine. There's no cure. This is not chickenpox. You don't get it one time and then it's over. That's it. People can get reinfected. And I also heard people were talking about, well, black people don't get it. Well, that myth is busted. That's gone. And people younger than our seniors, younger than 65, younger than 60, stuff like that. Oh, well, that myth is gone as well. So it's not true. It's not a racial thing. It's not an age thing. Yes, I know most of the elderly they get affected, but because they're immune and their health is already failing anyway. Okay, they're not as young and spry, can't recover as fast as they were when they were in their 20s, when they're 75 years old. It's not the same. So, yeah, they are the most affected. However, they're not the only affected. And sure, if you have youth on your side, yeah, you're in your 20s, good chance you're going to recover. Doesn't mean that no one in their 20s has not died. Not true. Okay, so it's a good chance that you'll recover. However, if you don't isolate, quarantine yourself or whatever, you can get reinfected. That's all there is to it. It can come back on you. Brother said, he said, pretty soon it won't be optional. Curfew, then lockdown. Exactly. Martial full force. Martial law full force. They're testing it now with some places already implementing some or the tactics and the strategies. Absolutely. How you doing, Sister Ronnie Rayner's, Sister Robinette? And shalom to my brother in your head, Ronnie Rayner. Breaking Generation said, I was just praying that my Lord stop being disobey the Ruach in me and stay home. He is irking my nerves, and I know Abba will remove the rate soon. The tears, okay. Yeah, he's doing a work out there, guys. He is doing a work. I'm telling you. So for those who don't want to, listen, they don't want to take heed. They don't think it's a big deal. It's they're just not going to listen. They're going to enforce it. That's what I'm saying. Social distancing to martial law. And that's what's going to happen. And it's going to be because we brought it on ourselves. It's going to be because, like Brother Grant Hill was saying, they having spring break. What are you gathering at the beaches and stuff? What are you doing? What are you doing? New York? I think it's New York. Don't quote me on that. I think it's New York where they have this whole annual thing where they go check out the cherry blossoms and stuff like that. They're gathering there. And the governor's like, what the heck are you guys doing? Get out of here. Kind of thing, kind of attitude. Not that he was personally there, but he was upset that people gathered. And I'm like, I mean, guys, this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand. This is what people are doing. Okay? This is what people are doing and not listening. They're going to enforce martial law. And guess what? We can't blame it on the government. We can't blame it on the government. We blame the government for a lot of things. We can't blame this on the government because there'll be no need for martial law if everybody stayed home, stayed in their house. And don't get me wrong. Last week, I went out. Don't get me wrong. I went out. I tested waters. Went to see what's going on. Okay, wasn't that many people on the street. Wasn't very many people in the stores or whatever. And for the most part, people were keeping their distance for the most part, right? People still stop and kind of get gas. You won't need to if you stay home. I get it, but people trying to keep their tanks filled, so in case something happens, they got a full tank. And so I'm trying to do the same thing. Okay, but what I'm saying is, if the numbers don't plateau, if we're not flattening the curve, martial law is coming. I'm just saying it's coming, right? It's coming. If we do not flatten the curve, if there is no plateau, if there's, if it doesn't continue to rise, so far it is still growing. Okay? I was just looking at another number, not my number. I was looking at another number. They said, and it was actually on the news. They said that it's growing by 50% per day. That means it's doubling every 2 days. 100% in 2 days. So, if this trend doesn't stop, guys, we're going to find ourselves, in as bad a shape as countries like, Italy. Complete and total lockdown. Enforced curfews. It's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen because we cannot imagine living our lives differently. We can't imagine living our lives differently, diametrically opposed to the way we used to live it. We're not used to that. And damn it, they're gonna fight for it. They're gonna, hey, you know, they want their way of life. So no paradigm shift. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. So, hey, that's all I got for right now. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. Before I let you go, please do me a huge solid favor. Thumbs up the video, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'm gonna see you guys on the next video. Israelite Prepper.